So I've decided to start a series to help you navigate the city better. I'll be breaking down London into north, south, east and west. For each video, I'll kind of cover each area, starting off with south in this one, telling you tourist attractions, kind of popular areas to help you kind of get your mind around what is in kind of each area. I'll also share a couple of really good restaurants and bars to just help you get a bit kind of better situated, if that makes sense. So if that sounds good, let's get straight into it. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Nigerian in London. If you are new here, welcome. If you are not new here, thank you so much for coming back. My name is Dabi, and on this channel we talk about all things London, whether that be you're planning to move to London, or you are already in London, or you're just trying to figure the city out. This channel is for you. So starting off the series with South London. Now South London is very close to my heart because I am a South London girl. All the time I've lived in London, I have always lived in South London. I don't see myself living anywhere else. I just absolutely love it here. But a good way to kind of recognize South London when someone sends you an address is the postcode usually would start with SW or SE. So SW being southwest, SE being southeast. So I'll make sure to put up on the map here South London and highlight it so you can see exactly what areas we're referring to when we say South London. That way when you see a map you can know exactly what we're talking about. So in more recent kind of years, or even decades I should say, Southeast London rent wise, or even just for buying a house, has been much cheaper than usually the rest of the city, that being northeast or west. I believe the reason for this is actually has quite a bit to do with the fact we don't have the tube. We've got the train, we've got the DLR, but technically no tube. I guess there's now the Elizabeth line, but I'm still not sure whether that should be classified as the tube or not. Southeast London also has a massive Caribbean and African immigrant community, which to be honest is probably why I am most comfortable here. I'm able to get all the African and Caribbean food I want, get my hair done easily, and I don't know, it feels like home. So now for the popular areas, I'm going to break this down into southeast and southwest just to make it easier to understand. So southeast, you've got Lewisham, you've got Greenwich, you've got Dulwich, you've got Crystal Palace, Woolwich, and fun fact, the oldest part of southeast is technically London Bridge. Other areas in southwest London include Brixton, Clapham, Wimbledon, Balham, Battersea, even technically South Kensington. South London is rich in tourist attractions, and one of my favorite things about southeast London is the greenery. So I will start off with a few parks we have here. Keep in mind there are lots and lots of other smaller parks. Even from where I live, there are like 3 parks in walking distance. So first off, we have Battersea Park. Battersea Park is absolutely beautiful in the summer. Oh my goodness, they have these like water lake kind of ridey things. I have no idea what it's called. I'll try to see if I can find a picture, but my husband and I went there on a date a couple years ago, and like I could never forget it. It was stunning. You've also got Richmond Park, that is also in southwest London. You have Crystal Palace Park, which is actually technically walking distance from me, a long walk, but walking distance from me. All these parks you can take your dog usually. They usually have to be on lead, but they also have just so much to do. Crystal Palace Park, fun fact, actually has like a whole massive kind of sports center in it as well. It's got this like dinosaur display things that kids would love, and it's got a really beautiful lake, or actually lakes I should say. Also has like a skateboarding section. On Sundays there is an amazing street food market there that like it's worth it. You've also got the classics. We've got Tower Bridge, which is not London Bridge, but obviously you would probably pass through London Bridge to get to Tower Bridge. London Bridge is actually quite a boring boring bridge. Tower Bridge is actually the pretty one. So if you don't already know that, now you know. There's also London Eye. I don't think London Eye needs my advertisement. There's also Cutty Sark. The Cutty Sark is actually a ship that I believe used to carry tea back in the day, but it is now a museum in Greenwich. And speaking of Greenwich, Greenwich Market is technically a tourist attraction, I guess, but it's my favorite market in London. And yeah, you can have a like nice lovely walk around the market that has lots and lots of different stalls. You will be entertained and also probably spend a bit of money, and there's lots of like street food, and then you can have a walk down to the Cutty Sark. And speaking of museums, we've also got the Horniman Museum. The outside of it, I believe, is currently being refurbished, but the Horniman Museum is not fine. It's not one of the massive ones, but it is still worth the visit. And if you have kids, they'll probably love it even more because they've got like animals at the back. So they've got, I believe, llamas. I might be wrong, but I think they have like a petting zoo at the back, but it's still like a really lovely place to visit. And last but not least, we've also got Shakespeare's Globe for my Shakespeare lovers. Now, a few restaurants and bars in South London. Please keep in mind, same as anywhere in London, there's probably just a limitless amount of restaurants and bars. These are just some of my favorites or some that I've heard of and wanted to visit. So true to South London vibes, Peckham Levels. I really love Peckham Levels. It's generally like a really affordable place. They sometimes have like parties and stuff on, but it's essentially a multi-story car park that's been converted into an entertainment center slash they've just got like this whole one floor that's got lots of street food restaurants, and like I absolutely love it there. And as you're in the area of Peckham, if you love a night out, like clubbing, like just nightlife, Peckham has great nightlife and is probably one of the more affordable places to go out in London for a night out. Yamamomo in Dulwich is a sushi slash Japanese restaurant, but it is my favorite sushi restaurant in London, to be quite honest. I've been there I don't even know how many times, but the food there is always top notch. Bussey Rooftop Bar is my favorite rooftop bar in South London and happens to be actually one of the largest rooftop bars in South London. It is absolute perfection and vibes in summer. So now to a more kind of sit down meal vibe, the Ivy Tower Bridge. So the Tower Bridge branch of the Ivy, the views there are immaculate because if you get to sit outside or get to sit by the window, you have a stunning clear view of Tower Bridge. So if it's not raining, try to get a seat outside. The Ivy is a chain restaurant and there are lots and lots around the city. I've been to a few. To be honest, I've never had anything to complain about in the Ivy. The decor is always really beautiful, but the Tower Bridge one, the view, can't beat it. As the name of this channel is Nigerian in London and I am a Nigerian, it would not be right for me to shout out a Nigerian restaurant in case you want to try one out. My favorite one, or I should say go-to, to be quite honest, I haven't tried it that many since I've moved here because I just cook most of my Nigerian food myself, but my go-to, and I know a lot of other people's go-to, tends to be Enish. They have branches, I believe, all around the city. Please excuse the weird sounds. That is my dog just being weird for no reason. But yeah, back to Enish. Enish has quite a few branches around the city, I believe. As we are talking about London and what do English people love more than a pub? probably nothing. I'm gonna round up with a couple of pubs that I would recommend, some that are more historic and just the buildings are beautiful, or some that you just feel really comfortable and at home and just want to drink the evening away and chat with friends. The first one is the Dial Arch. It has a special place in my heart. It is in Woolwich, right by the kind of riverside area, and it has a special place in my heart because that's where I went on my first date with my now husband. It's really beautiful. I have a friend who actually had her like wedding reception there, and it's just really lovely vibes. They have a really nice outdoor seating area as well, so you can sit inside or outside, and it's really nice. So my current go-to pub in my local vicinity is the Woodhouse. It is super dog friendly. It's got a very large outdoor seating area. For colder days, they've got these little kind of hut things that are really cute and really cozy. For warmer days, you can just sit in the sun and have your beer with obviously a little umbrella. They've got a really lovely indoor area as well. But one of my favorite things about the place is the food. They've got so many options for a pub, and their Sunday roast is top notch. Now for a more historic vibe, we have the Trafalgar Tavern in Greenwich. One really unique thing about this place is that a part of the pub is quite literally on the Thames. It was also, I believe, the pub literally opened in 1837, which is absolutely insane. Outside of all of that, it is a really beautiful place. It's like really lovely to take pictures of from the outside. It was even featured in one of Charles Dickens' books. But yeah, it's one of those kind of historical pubs. Actually, saying that, we also have the Roebuck in Borough. This is a 19th century pub, and if not for anything else, it is worth the visit just to see how friggin' gorgeous it is. It looks really cool. If you're into architecture, this one will definitely be for you. Obviously, it's a pub, so you can always go in, have drinks, have a chat, meet up with friends. And that is South London for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you happen to be from South London, feel free to suggest any places or anything in general you think I missed. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.